So this is going to be about my day trip to Volendam and Marken that I had from Amsterdam. This was recommended to me by the taxi driver from the airport. I really didn't know what to expect. I purposely didn't Google that much about the place. I wanted to go in there just fresh mind. I have a tendency to overlook places and just Google the hell out of them. So I thought, why not just leave this one as a surprise? The only thing I really knew is that they had smoked eel and I wanted to try the smoked eel. In the end, it really was a fantastic day trip. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole day I spent in both of these places. There was lots of walking around and I don't really like walking around that much, but I don't know, it didn't really feel like I did. Maybe I like walking more than I actually think I do. It was a lot more touristy than what I expected. I was trying to get advice from the locals about like where to eat and stuff, but in the end, everywhere was just full of tourists. So I'm going to start off with Voldendam. I got a bus here from Amsterdam. I actually think you could cycle from Amsterdam to Volendam. The majority of the way there were cycle lanes. It took about 40 minutes by bus to get there. The first stop I made was to the Voldendam Museum. This was pretty much round the corner from the bus stop. It is quite small, but it only cost £5.50 to get in. The staff there were super friendly. They were lovely. We had a little discussion about Eurovision and about the Netherlands disqualification. As you go into the museum, you're given a little sheet and then it just gives a short description about what's in each of the rooms. And from what I can see, this was available in quite a few different languages. There were a few QR codes dotted around the museum, and then this link to videos or audio files. It was interesting to see what Volendam was like through the years. I would definitely recommend going here. Next stop was for food. I was hungry and I had my eyes set on smoked eel. I was told by the staff at the museum to walk down to the harbour and then turn right, because everything to the left was like for the tourists. It was hard to know where to stop because, as I said before, there were just tourists everywhere. I tried to go somewhere where I could hear a lot of Dutch people speaking in the hopes that they were locals. So I got a fish trio. So this was smoked salmon, balsamic prawns and onions, and then smoked eel on slices of baguette. The smoked salmon was really nice. I love smoked salmon, so I could have just had like bowls and plates full of smoked salmon. The prawns were okay. There wasn't anything special about them. And I was disappointed by the smoked eel. I thought it was just okay. It tasted a little bit salty and a little bit fishy, but it didn't really have any smokiness to it. I don't know, maybe it was just that smoked eel, or maybe just because I went to a touristy place. I don't know, but I want to try it again. I would definitely have it again, but it was just disappointing. So I paid £13 for this fish trio and a glass of Coke, which, I mean, it is expensive. From what I could see, everywhere was pricey though. I waddled along the harbour and went to the cheese factory. This is free to enter. On the floor that you walk in on, they are selling cheese. There is cheese everywhere. And then you go down some stairs and follow a route round to see the process of how a cheese gets made. Online they say they do demonstrations. I'm not sure what they demonstrate, but they didn't have any the day I went. This was a cool little thing to do for 5 minutes. I mean, I love museums, so any chance to see how something gets made, I'm happy to go to. After the cheese factory, I went to get some poffertjes, which are like Dutch mini pancakes. And these were nice. They were quite sweet because I got caramel, so it will be sweet. So the price for these were extortionate. It was £7 for a portion, which is a lot. I think at this point, it finally cemented the fact that this was a bit of a tourist trap for me. After this, I got the ferry over to Marken. So I paid £13.55 for the one-way ticket over to Marken, and then also a demonstration at the Clog factory. The return ticket for the ferry is £13.70. However, I knew I was going to be getting the bus from Marken to Amsterdam, so I didn't bother with that. The ferry went very slowly. It took 30 minutes in total. There was a sign saying there would be a tour guide on the boat. I was imagining, you know, like on boats in London where they go, this is Big Ben, etc. But instead there was just music, really quiet music. So I don't know what's happening there. It was very windy on the day, so lots of people ended up downstairs in the inside bit. And you can get a bus to Marken as well. I think it's cheaper. I just like the novelty of the ferry. So Marken is a really nice place to walk around. There's lots of cute little houses there. So my first stop in Marken was to go to the wooden shoes theme factory for the demonstration that I paid for. As you walk in, it is a clog shop. There are clogs everywhere, as you probably would have guessed, and then the demonstrations happen in the back. Initially, I felt a little bit scammed. When I walked in to go to the demonstration, they didn't check any tickets, let people walk in, so I was like, oh, did they just charge us for no reason, just to be like, oh yeah, go to see the clogs, yeah, that's it, yeah, give us your money. But as I walked out, I could see they were selling tickets for the clog demonstration, so I don't know what happened. I don't know whether the guy just doesn't care or just didn't bother checking, or he assumed everyone bought their tickets there. I have no idea. The actual demonstration itself was interesting. He did it in Dutch and English, but I really didn't think he needed to do the English, to be honest, because I could work out what he was saying just from like pointing and then doing things. It was very visual anyway. I think you can kind of work out the steps. The whole thing lasted for about 15 minutes. I found this super interesting. I don't know if it's because I know someone that sells clogs, so that just added a layer of interest to me. But yeah, I would definitely go back. I found it super fun, super interesting. So my next stop was the Marken Museum. This was small, very small, the smallest museum I've been. I mean, it was a bit naff, but it was only £2.50. There was a lot of text for what was there. I think it's something that you can skip, but it's nice to learn about the history of the area, but it's not really necessary to go in my opinion. So the final stop for me in Marken was at De Verkeerde Wereld. This was a cafe where I got a slice of apple pie. This was similar to the pie at Winkel 43 in Amsterdam. I actually preferred the apple pie from Winkel 43. It was still really good though. It was a good apple pie, and I love the fact that they served it warm as well. I'll definitely go back there if I am in Marken. There was also somewhere else that sold apple pie in Marken, but this was on the harbour, so I assume that one's a bit more touristy. It was £6.35 for the slice of apple pie with cream and then a bottle of lemonade, which I think is alright. So that was my day trip in Volendam and Marken. I'm hoping this has been helpful. I'm hoping this has given you a rough idea of what to expect. Expect tourists.